The book has been published. You were actually 11 years old when you and I worked on this book. How was it for you to realize that your illustrations had actually been published in a book?
Well, it was a very thrilling experience, and I was happy that my work was able to get out there, especially being so young.
Mhm.
I'm glad that I'm able to join many people who have made a name for themselves like this young.
Flip the music. Ay, na 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 na. I don't know teacher me, or do you for me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Storie with Linda. Today, I am very excited to welcome my guest. He is the youngest person I have interviewed on my show and my podcast, but he is doing incredible things and on the way to do even more incredible things. Today, I have Atumkeze Kum. He is an illustrator at just 13 years old. He started illustrating at the age of 5. He says as long as he remembers, as long as he had consciousness. And I should mention that Atum's parents are originally from Cameroon. So welcome to the show, Atum. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Happy to be here.
Great. Thank you so much for making time. So I will go right into some of the questions that I have for you. So your work was recently published in a book that I wrote.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can we see Atum's name? This is Atum's name. And I remember you and your mom were going somewhere and I saw you guys and I said, hey, the book has been published. You were actually 11 years old when you and I worked on this book. How was it for you to realize that your illustrations had actually been published in a book?
Well, it was a very thrilling experience, and I was happy that my work was able to get out there, especially being so young.
Mhm.
I'm glad that I'm able to join many people who have made a name for themselves like this young.
That's wonderful. And a question that I had not prepared for, but now that I think about it, when I asked your mom if you and I could work together on this book, she said you were designing you were doing very specific types of illustrations. And then I came and I asked you to do this type of illustration for this children's book. Can you talk about what you were doing at the time and how that was different from the illustrations that I was asking you to do?
Well, at the time, I had a YouTube channel. It had gained up to like 730 subscribers. I quit sometime recently though in 2020 in mid 2021, I believe.
Mhm.
But that was where most of my work had been occupied at that time.
Okay, so it had mostly been YouTube online, and I was asking you to do something that was going to be printed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine I was asking you to do something with a lot more color.
hmm
How did it feel to go from things that didn't have so much color to do stuff that had a lot of color?
Well, it was kind of a game changer, really, and I think that it helped me perfect my art style. Well, not really perfect, but it helped me work on my art style,
Mhm.
and it helped me grow and and learn as an artist.
That's awesome. It was a great process for me too. So let's go a little bit back in time. You said you started illustrating when you were like 5 years old. I'm just curious how you learned. Did you take classes? Did someone teach you? And how do you continue to perfect your skills?
Well, I do remember going after school. I watched a lot of animations on YouTube growing up,
Mhm.
and I watched a lot of cartoons on PBS Kids. And
Mhm.
I was really amazed with how they could take drawings and be able to move them and turn them into entertainment. So I remember, so after school, we had a big computer after school,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd go on there and I'd use any notebook that I could find in the house or any piece of paper, and I'd go on and I'd just search up things to draw, like drawing
Mm.
tutorials, and that helped me get in movement with shapes and colors, and it just helped me learn to design and how to put things into different art styles.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're self taught in a way, even though
Yeah.
you took some classes. That's incredible. So what inspires your art apart from maybe someone like me asking you to do something? You were doing your YouTube on your own. So what was inspiring the art that you were putting out?
What mainly inspired my art was my family, because especially my parents, since they really pushed me into art and they supported me in doing everything that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in third grade, I remember this competition where there was a theme where you could draw your whole family as a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And that day, my mom had given me art supplies and different books that I
Mm-hmm.
was able to use to draw. And ever since I can remember that I started my art journey, she's been the one helping to support me um to help my art. Even she's been the one who's been opening up these opportunities for me. And even when I was doing YouTube, she gave me her input on what she would like to see,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried to implement her into most of what I drew and like my basic art style. Yeah.
That's incredible. Shout out to Mama. It's really great to hear how you talk about how she supports you and um buys you supplies. So kudos to her and your dad, however he supports as well. So I'm just curious what your hopes are for the future. Now you have your YouTube channel, you have your work in a children's book. And the book is actually called Achu Apple and Acheke, illustrated by Atumkeze Kum. So what are your hopes for the future?
For the future, I hope to work in coding,
Hmm.
or maybe work in animation or cartoon, two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as I grow older, art will become a hobby, or I could plan to make it into a full-time career.
Mm-hmm.
But right now my main goal is working in IT.
Very smart. IT is definitely the way the world is going. And I'm curious, what do you do for fun? Like on your spare time? Uh, what do you do for fun?
For fun in my spare time, usually, well, I draw, obviously. I do art. I work on my art style. And when I'm not doing art, I'm either out spending time with my family,
Mhm.
or I'm just playing video games with my brothers.
That's awesome. Well, Atum, it was such a joy working with you, getting our book published, and chatting with you a little bit more today. If people are curious and want to know more about your work, should they just go to your YouTube channel or where should they learn more about your illustrations?
If people want to see more of my work, I have I recently made a Twitter profile
Hmm.
where most of my art can be seen.
Okay.
I just made it now, but I am going to be uploading more and more frequently up there. And that's where I'm going to be putting most of my art. And
Okay.
I will be opening commissions soon, which is where I can be where you can pay me to do art for a project or anything. Yeah.
Very smart. Yes,
Or you can
I love that business aspect, Atum. I had to pay Atum. It wasn't free. He was
yeah.
paid. Well, thank you so much. It was such a joy working with you. And I know that if I want to do another project, I will definitely come to you. So listeners, if you want to see more of his work, and what is your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Speedy Social Art.
Okay.
Capital SPEEDY, capital SOCIAL, capital ART.
Awesome. I will make sure I link it when I post the video. So everybody check out Atum's work on Twitter. I'll also put his YouTube page if you want to check out what he's had on there. Thank you so much, Atum. It was such a joy talking to you, and I wish you
My
a
pleasure.
lot more commissions and wonderful art, and of course, a successful career in the IT if that's where you want to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Flip the music. Ay,